Let's talk about the Chiefs' biggest strength and greatest weaknesses going into the 2022 season. Mahomes and Kelce continuing their fun at the AC Championship golf event. Jody Fortson's quicker than expected recovery and his high expectations for this year, and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka the Great Lava-Bearded Ghostface from the Underworld, or sometimes known as the Red-Bearded Roller of Andy Reid's bread rolls, and I do daily news about the Chiefs and the NFL overall, so I'm definitely going to need you to sub if you would like to be a part of the best, most troll-like, sarcastic Chiefs news channel on the earth, and then hit that like button if you'd like Patrick Mahomes himself to hit you right in the little throat with a football. And let's get into this video, starting with some highlights from Mahomes himself, as well as his duo, infamous duo, Travis Kelce, as they continue their roundabout fun at this AC Championship golf event. Starting with Travis Kelce, who can be seen flopping his arms all around on stage like a wet noodle with the Chainsmokers. And then he could be seen here, pleasing the crowd, chugging a beer through a funnel. Yesterday, Mahomes could be seen draining another three-pointer, driving a ball 386 whole yards, which I don't know how good that is in the sport of golf, because I don't watch golf, but that seems like a long freaking drive to me. And a clip I missed the other day, he throws a nearly perfect left-handed ball to a fan on the beach. Rather impressive. And then he can be seen chilling like a villain with Bills QB Josh Allen on this purple vehicle, then moments later proceeding to save Josh Allen's life by Randy Mossing a football out of the air that was heading straight for Josh Allen's face. And to see them hanging out together is pretty cool to me, just because it seems like Josh Allen and Mahomes have really become friends in real life, in some capacity at least, even though they are ultimate rivals on the football field for years to come. And since we are on the subject of Mahomes and Allen, the Bills GM, head coach, and defensive coordinator recently shared about some of their offseason moves, and one of the big ones being the signing of Von Miller. Well, their hopes of signing someone like Von is to be able to change their playoff fortune against the Chiefs. Good luck with that. Brandon Beane, the Bills GM, spoke of how the Bills fell short of their goal last season and the season before, might I add, mainly because they couldn't get to Patrick Mahomes in the divisional playoff loss to the Chiefs, and believes that Miller could change that. Well, might change that. We'll have to see. They plan on using him in matchups also on both sides of the ball, in case you really wanted to know that. And it doesn't surprise me that the Bills are making moves like this, as it seems to be the offseason trend to fortify D-lines and hopefully be able to overwhelm Mahomes and company and actually be able to beat the Chiefs. This has been happening specifically in the AFC West. The Chargers already had Joey Bosa. Then they added Khalil Mack. The Broncos had Bradley Chubb, but then added Randy Gregory. The Raiders had Max Crosby. Why am I doing this? I don't know. But then added Chandler Jones. So yeah, these teams are not playing around like kids at recess. Meanwhile, the Chiefs seem to be doing the opposite and completely playing around, at least with their defensive line. More on that in a bit, because since we're talking about perceived strengths and weaknesses of the team, this is a great time to bring up a recent article from PFF that lists the strengths and weaknesses of every team in the league. And while I don't care so much about the league as a whole on this channel, starting an NFL channel for league-wide stuff here soon, don't you worry. I do care, though, on this channel to talk a little bit about AFC West, because that's very important to know. So let's look at it. This PFF article is from author Sam Monson, and he starts with the Broncos and lists their offensive weapons as the strength of the team, such as Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and others being their greatest strength, while they list the Broncos' greatest weakness as their pass rush, mainly because Bradley Chubb has struggled with injuries and Gregory seems to be a bit of a gamble, but hey, at least the Broncos are out here trying to do something. Next up is the Raiders, with their greatest strength being listed as their receivers, which is obvious because of the addition of Devontae Adams on top of already having Hunter Renfrow and Darren the Baller Waller. But their biggest weakness is listed as their offensive line, in which they say their line only has one quality starter, with the other four positions potentially being problem spots. Yikes. And we can't forget that a weak offensive line will cause average QBs like Patrick Mahomes' son to really struggle. So that is definitely not a good sign for the Raiders. Next is the Chargers, and their biggest strength is what I've already talked about, their edge rushers being Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. But their biggest weakness, interestingly enough, is listed as their interior defensive line. But I think their edge is so good, it's going to elevate the play of their interior D linemen anyway. So enough of these three little teams. Let's move on to the Chiefs. And while I know y'all are smart, and I probably don't even have to say what the strength and the weakness is on the team, it's the offseason, and times are slower than Tom Brady's 40 time at the Combine. So humor me for a moment here as we talk about it. The Chiefs' biggest strength is listed as the offensive line, and author Sam I Am Monson has this to say about it. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is the strength of this team. Tying him down to a decade-long contract means the Chiefs are perennial contenders. That's a nice word, but it feels wrong to ignore just how good of an offensive line they have assembled in front of him. Creed Humphrey was the best-graded center in the NFL as a rookie, with Trey Smith proving to be a steal as a 6th-round pick. Orlando Brown Jr., please sign that freaking contract, and Joe Thuney each played well in their first season with the team, making the biggest question mark of the unit right tackle, Lucas Niang, whose play was solid across 524 snaps last year. Yes, but the problem is, Lucas Niang won't be the starting right tackle because he will not be ready yet. He's still rehabbing from that knee injury. So right now it's a battle between the newly drafted rookie, Hulk Smash, Darian Kennard, and the old faithful vet, Andrew Wiley. He spent the last 5 seasons with the team and has proved his value as a Swiss Army knife of sorts over time, playing both guard and right tackle. And I do think, right now at least, that Andrew Wiley has the edge over Kennard, as he's proven he can do a pretty decent job, and Kennard is, well, a rookie who will need to prove himself a bit before they just throw him out to the Sharks to wade those waters and try and protect the Chiefs' $500 million lifeboat, aka Patrick Mahomes. Anyway, from here, the article then lists the Chiefs' biggest weakness as the D-line, yes, but specifically their edge rushers. Surprise! And this is what author Sam Monson has to say. The Chiefs will be hoping this weakness changes with the addition of George Karlaftis in the draft, but the trade for Frank Clark has been disastrous and left them with almost nothing in terms of pressure coming off the edge. And I'm going to pause here real quick to say this. Frank Clark helped the Chiefs win that ring back in 2019, so we got to give the guy that much at least. But since then, it has not been good, to put it nicely. Anyway, this man continues in this article saying Clark hasn't had a PFF pass rushing grade above 64.3 since being traded to KC after never falling below that mark in 4 seasons with Seattle. That's interesting. And then Melvin Ingram exceeded every Chiefs edge rusher except Clark in pressures last season, and he didn't arrive on the team until week 9. So that's depressing. Chris Jones was arguably their best edge rusher, and he's a 310-pound interior lineman. So yeah, basically, not good. It's a mess, and we all freaking know it. Aside from restructuring Frank Clark's contract and drafting George Karlaftis, Brett Veach and company have remained eerily quiet. And I already know what some of you are going to say. What about Joshua Kando and Malik Herring? Yeah, exactly my point. What about them? Kando's collegiate sample size is rather meager, as he struggled with that ankle injury his junior year and only played in 46 defensive snaps last season in the span of 3 games. So yeah, not much to go on with him as of right now. And Herring should be fully recovered and good to go this season, as last year he was still recovering from that ACL injury, but still, they are both a bit of an unknown factor at the moment, to me at least. But the good news is training camp is around the corner, and that should show a bit more of their progress and at least where the coaching staff is in their mindset with both of those guys. So the waiting game it is for right now at least. And then if you look at the rest of the D-line, they do have Mike Dana. They re-signed Derek Nottie. They added Taylor Stallworth. And of course, have Chris Jones, the bright spot on the D-line by far. But they need to do a little bit more to help this man out. Talking about the bright spot, Chris Jones. And as far as potential additions to the D-line go, Justin Houston is officially off the table as he recently re-signed with the Ravens on a 1-year deal. And then there's the rumors floating around that we've talked about previously, like trading for Robert Quinn or signing a veteran like Carlos Dunlap. But nothing is happening as of right now. It's quiet. So yeah, while I feel the Chiefs are slacking on the D-line, going back to the beginning of the article with the Chiefs' strengths, I'm glad they made such an upgrade to their O-line last season. And then as a side note, have seemingly made a decent effort to beef up their defensive secondary this offseason because they're really going to need all the help they can get with the way this D-line is looking. Mark my words.
Mark my words, boy, and mark them well.
All right, guys. Chiefs tight end Jody Fortson recently shared a bit of info about his Achilles injury, describing how he felt. And then was giving out thanks to where he went to rehab and train because of how fast he was able to turn things around. This is what he had to say. It really happened fast. I remember the ball got snapped and I took one step. Then I felt like an initial pop, but I didn't know. I thought somebody just stepped on me or something, so I tried to take another step, and that's when I felt like it actually really snapped. Fortson then had surgery in October, arrived at Adept Athlete as soon as the season ended to just get better, starting with the basics like learning how to walk again, get healthy, all that good stuff. Well, he was initially told it was going to be a 7 to 9 month rehab process, but upon his arrival to Adept Athlete in Atlanta, Georgia, he's had a much quicker turnaround than originally expected, and he said he's been back to full strength within nearly 5 months rather than the initial projected 7 to 9. And after saying that, he then says this, "Oh, I'm ready to go. I ain't even about to sit here and play. It's time for it." So you do love to hear stuff like that come out of the mouth of someone like Jody freaking Fortson. And for some context, I said it earlier, but he had surgery in October of 2021, arrived at this place maybe in January or February, and after 5 months with these guys, said he's pretty much all good and ready to go. Matt McMullen, the senior reporter of the Chiefs, recently confirmed what Fortson said here, saying he's healthy now, however, and looks poised to pick up where he left off last season, which is a very good sign because he was looking pretty freaking good. And then Fortson could indeed be seen at OTAs doing some individual drills, not with teams yet, but then at mandatory minicamp, he was seen taking some teen reps, and Pete Sweeney from Arrowhead Pride noted this about Fortson during day 2's mandatory minicamp practice. Offensively in 7-on-7, Fortson made an impressive leaping catch from Mahomes down the left sideline. So, if Fortson is back in team drills, making leaping catches from Mahomes himself, then I assure you, this man is ready. He's now approximately 9 months removed from surgery and will be closer to 10 months come the startup of training camp. So this man is basically good to freaking go, even though time will tell how he's able to hold up and handle things at training camp, and then probably even more into preseason in August. That will be the telltale signs for him leading up to the regular season. I'll be curious to see how the Chiefs staff handle his snap count and things like that, but either way, I'm excited for a Jody Fortson return to see what he has in the tank this year, and I believe he will be used in a way that hopefully affords Travis Kelce a bit of rest on the sideline in these games during this very long NFL season because of a couple reasons. One, Travis Kelce is getting older. He'll be 33 in October, and his body is going to need a bit of rest here and there, especially for the second reason, which is because the Chiefs have season after season after season been making it deep into the playoffs, making the regular season much longer. So, what do you guys think about Fortson's return this season? Are you cautiously optimistic, extremely hopeful, or something else, maybe a bit more pessimistic and negative? Feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's quarrel about it down there like some fans do about Justin Ross making the starting roster. Make sure to leave a bearded comment or a super thanks to potentially be featured in an upcoming vid. Give this video a thumbs up if you've made it this far and still haven't done so, because it does indeed help push this out into the algorithm. Then check out this video here, boop, boop, from the Scrambling Armchair, as he shares for about 13 minutes his thoughts on why Justin Watson may indeed end up being a lock for the Chiefs. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?